All right, welcome to another deep dive, everybody. Today, we're going to be looking at this concept of peace and what it means.
Yeah, it's a big one.
It is, and especially right now with what's happening in Ukraine.
Exactly. Peace is a pretty loaded term these days, huh?
Oh, absolutely. And we're diving into this news article. Trump wants peace. Ukrainians fear what that might look like.
Yeah, that title, it really kind of lays out the
Right
conflict.
off the bat, right?
Yeah.
And so when you see a headline like that, you know you're in for a complicated conversation.
Oh yeah, you know right away there are going to be different viewpoints on this.
Okay, so let's break this down a little bit. The article jumps right into former President Trump's stance on the war.
Hmm.
And, he's been calling for peace.
Right. And it's important to look at this, regardless of where you stand politically. What does he actually mean by peace in this
Right.
context?
Take that.
And from what we've seen from Trump in the past, he tends to favor these swift resolutions,
Mm,
even if it means concessions from, one side or the other. I mean, you got to remember his whole America First approach.
right.
It's possible that, this could translate to wanting a quick end to the conflict, even if it means Ukraine having to make some really tough compromises.
Okay, and that brings us to what the Ukrainians are really worried about, right?
Right.
The article really gets into, their anxiety around some of these peace proposals that have been floated.
Right.
So what are some of the specific fears that they're voicing?
Well, one of the biggest ones is this idea of territorial concessions.
Hmm.
Would Ukraine be forced to give up land to Russia as part of a peace deal?
Yeah.
And they're very apprehensive about that. They see it as almost like rewarding the aggression.
Rewarding Russia for invading in the first place.
Exactly.
Right.
And it raises this whole question of justice. Can there really be true peace without addressing the wrongs that have been committed?
It's not just about, like we were saying, stopping the fighting.
Right, yeah.
It's about getting to a place where the things that have happened are acknowledged and dealt with.
Yeah, exactly. And the article really contrasts Trump's vision, which seems to be more about just getting a ceasefire, with this Ukrainian desire for accountability. They want to see war crimes addressed, and they want long-term security guarantees.
It's like they're looking at peace in almost two completely different ways.
Yeah, it's a fundamental difference in how they define peace.
And this is where it gets even more complex because, the article focuses on the American view and the Ukrainian view.
Hmm.
But we can't forget about Russia.
Oh, absolutely not. They have their own perspective on what peace should look like, too.
And they probably feel very strongly about it as well.
Oh, without a doubt. And their idea of peace likely includes, getting those territorial gains recognized.
So trying to hold on to the territory that they've taken.
Yeah. And this is where it's so important to really understand these different perspectives,
Right.
right? Because for Ukraine, peace isn't just about, the guns falling silent. It's about justice. It's about security. It's about ensuring that this never happens again.
And those are all really hard things to get when you're negotiating a peace agreement.
Extremely hard, especially, when you're dealing with someone like Putin.
Yeah, it's so layered and complex. There are no easy answers here.
Right. And any path to peace is going to involve difficult choices and probably compromises from all sides.
And so I guess that's the question we're left with after this deep dive, right?
Yeah.
What does a just and lasting peace look like in your mind?
Yeah, what would it take for each side to feel like their needs are being met and their concerns are being heard? It's really something to think about.
Yeah. A lot to think about, a lot to unpack. Thank you for joining us. We've just scratched the surface here, but hopefully this has given you a little bit of a better understanding of just how complex this whole idea of peace in Ukraine really is.
Absolutely. It's an ongoing conversation.
It is. It is. All right. Well, until next time, everyone, take care.